There we go. I don't want that on there.
Are you live on your page?
I am not yet, but I am now.
Right.
Oh, wait.
Oh, my gosh. We got stuff going on.
I can't get rid of it. It just keeps playing. See?
Just X out of that thing.
Oh, I got to turn my phone off because then I don't have to worry about that. There. Okay.
Welcome to Metaphysical Meanderings with Master Psychic Lana Duncan Hartgraves. Lana's been a practicing psychic for 25 plus years and has gifts of clairaudience, clairvoyance, and clairsentience. She is an empath, a medium, as well as a pet communicator and health advisor. This week, of course, we are going to be discussing some sightings of the beast of Bray Road and white stones.
Yep.
Welcome.
Hey. Okay, so being Metaphysical Meanderings, I'm also super into the paranormal, because I know stuff's there and I've got stuff on my website. By the way, remember I had a Bigfoot hunter on here. Yeah. I had forgotten to post his footprints they're now on my website. So go to enchantedSky.com and you'll see them along with my ghost pictures.
And if you're watching, of course, on YouTube and or 216 the Net's Facebook, you're going to see www.enchantedSky.com right down there in the left-hand corner.
Take a look and tell me what you think, because I don't know those things are like that. They're probably, it looks
they're
like
huge. They're a Bigfoot.
Yeah. And exactly. Well, it looks like he's walking because on the prints, it looks like,
you
your
see the pressure
spread, the toes are spread. I don't know. Anyway, all I know is something is lurking in southeastern Wisconsin. Okay. I live in southeastern Wisconsin and I've had myself 2 sightings. Well, 2 different sightings, almost 3. If I'll tell you my thing. Now, Halloween, I talked about this stuff, but now I belong to a couple of paranormal groups and I'm getting people telling me all the time about stuff. Okay. Now, I did call someplace. It's called the Fortean Society. He cannot be here today. I've got 3 different people and they all are working. He's actually, I believe he's on some type of investigation. Actually, I got invited for the summer to join them. So it's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Yeah. So anyway, I've got 3 different things and I didn't know what they were, but there's stuff out there. Now, if anybody's been watching the news, CBS News last week, actually, I was just looking it up and they are listing that scientists are studying a actual picture of Bigfoot with something to do with hairs. And they are convinced that they think it's possibly real now. They're finally coming out and saying this is a real entity. Okay. So I just thought that was so fascinating. I was like, wow, that's so cool because Native Americans believe in it. Now, if I very much am into Native American. That's why I had somebody ask me, are you Native American? Not that I know of. I don't see it. Supposedly my husband is, it's a long story because he said his grandmother was, but,
my guide is
Cherokee, but, I am not, but I live on Native American soil. I'm just very involved with Native American people, very involved in powwows and all of that. It's just, it's coming from past life. Yeah. I've been that way like many times in my past lives. So that's kind of where that comes from. Okay. Anyway, and I have mounds all around me. So if you guys know that, I have 9 mounds within like a walking distance of my house, like within maybe less than a mile away. And I have stuff. I've got 3 different things. Now, I actually called and talked to a man named Lee Hempel, and he's on the Travel Channel, but he's also had some sightings. And he is doing some things with the Travel Channel right now. And I talked to him about them. And this is what he was saying. I've also got 2 sightings I'm going to share with you. Okay. So this is my story. This is what's happened to me. I have been living in between two cities called Beloit and Janesville, Wisconsin for 14 years. And I had one of my daughter's friends who they used to come in up, and I have an apartment in my lower level of my house. It's a full apartment. And instead of going all the way up and around like they used to go outside the door, they would go out the window. They would just crack the window open and hop out because there was exits because, legally you had to have some type that would, for fire and stuff. And she says to me, there's something at your house. And I go, oh, it's probably coyote because the coyotes are really bad, right? And she goes, no. And I go, what is it? What are you talking about? And she's like, there's this thing and it's got to be like 7 feet tall. It's huge. It was huge. And it had a hump on its back and it's black with spiky skin, spiky hair and like these funny looking ears that kind of like pointed like that way and red eyes. And I'm like, okay, you're crazy, but you've been smoking, right? Probably were too. Anyway. And I'm like, I never thought about it. And I just kind of went about, I'm like, you're nuts. You're nuts. Maybe about 4 months later, my husband and I are out and it's maybe 5 o'clock in the morning and it was just getting light. I have never heard the sound that I have heard in my life. It was between a roar and like maybe somebody eating something. And it was, I looked at him and he looked at me and I'm like, what was that? I'm like, was that a coyote? Did they grab something or eating something? And it did not sound like any animal I knew because the coyotes will howl and stuff. I've got them bad too. The coyotes. If anybody knows, I live near a place called Afton Bottoms, and there's probably 5 to 10 miles of square land with no roads, no nothing. And back up in there, I've seen a wolf. And if somebody says it wasn't, I know when a wolf is standing this tall, big, that animal is standing that tall and it had the pattern of a wolf, black and white, kind of like with a gray. I'm like, no, that's not a coyote. I know what a coyote looks like. So so there's stuff back in there. So I thought, no big deal. So go up a little ways farther. Okay. So I have my daughter's she had a boyfriend at the time. Thank God he's gone. Anyway, I didn't like him. Anyway.
How do you really feel?
Yeah, tell you how you really feel. Yeah. Well, he was kind of a troublemaker. Anyway, so he calls my daughter up. That was maybe 2 o'clock in the morning. He goes, you got a demon on your road. What the hell is that? And she's like, what are you talking about? And she's like, and she's got him on tape. She has it was a taped interview because they would never go back to my house ever again. And he said, I'm driving home and there was this thing. And it was like 7 feet tall. It's black. It was spiky hair. And it had these red glowing eyes and it stood upright. And he goes, I was so scared. I didn't know what it was. And it looked kind of like a dog or a wolf or something that I drove to the end of the road. And when I got to the end of the road to turn, it was there again. So are there two? Or is it able to move, to shapeshift or something, right. Which was an interesting thing. I never thought, now we've got that on tape. So if anybody's thinking that any of this is like it blows your mind a little bit, I've got 2 more witnesses that are saying things. Now, not too much after that, my husband and my son-in-law, God, I wish I was with them at separate times, seen a Black Panther. They say that they exist in Wisconsin, but they say they no one's ever found one, blah, blah. My husband saw it walk right across the road. Long tail. It looked, and it had a cougar pattern on the face, but it was solid black. My son-in-law said he saw it every morning going to work for about a month. It was just sitting on the side of the road, just sitting there looking at everybody. He goes, I think it's a cougar. And I'm like, what color? He goes, really, really super dark, almost black, not quite. And I'm like, so what are all these? That's my question. So I make a phone call to this Lee Hempel and the Fortean Society. And eventually I'll be maybe able to connect with them. They were just really busy this weekend. And he said they've told me that what we're seeing as 2 separate entities, they think. The one is a hellhound. I don't know. I have pictures of little bitty guys look on my website, walking across, and I didn't know what they were, and I caught them on camera at Weary Road. And I was told they were wood nymphs. I mean, I don't know. I'm going to be honest if I don't know something. And he said it was a hellhound, and then the other one was the beast of Bray Road.
Oh.
So now here's an interesting thing. I'm on sacred ground. I'm on sacred Native American ground. They used it for hunting. You can feel it when you're there, that's sacred ground. You just know. Anybody that's got any kind of intuition knows that they can feel it when they come to my house.
Feel that energy.
You can feel it. Were those people protectors? Were they tulpas? I don't know. That's my question. But now I've joined a couple of Facebook groups that are exploring all this. And what I want, my point being, is that scientists are starting to really say, hey, these things may be real. We're checking into this. The American government has acknowledged that they are checking into the possibility aliens. And I think they already know it's true. And they're just now coming out and finally admitting. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not. But people see things. Now, my true belief on some of it is that they're tulpas. Now, we've talked about tulpas before. Now, the human mind is so strong, you guys, that we can create things. And if we all keep seeing the same thing, it will exist. Mm-hmm. Okay? Because remember the intent, align, manifest whole thing, because we can create. Native Americans, they believe that's it is a part of their religion, and they don't even doubt that they don't exist. They just do. So that's something to think about. Now, I've been talking to a couple people, and they couldn't be here today, and I really wanted to interview them. But what I did is I have their written statements, and I want you to take a look at some of the stuff I've got, and I'm going to put them up on the screen here a little bit. Rachel. Hi, Rachel. Okay. We have to figure out how my Facebook can get to your Facebook so that I can read. So hold on. Maybe I can do this way. We're still figuring out technology, you guys. Okay.
I can do this and you can read it.
Well, I know, but I'm wondering if I could use my messenger on my Facebook.
Yeah, I don't know. You could.
If we cannot, you need to look at 216thenet.com and you can look on there too. I will you know what? I'll repost.
Hop over to your YouTube.
So yeah, go to my YouTube.
Yep.
My YouTube will work also.
I'll see it right there.
That's Lana's Enchanted Sky. Okay. So this is something that this woman says, and this is not the first time where something looks like pixelated, and it's out by me. Mm-hmm. There was something in 2010. Somebody saw that it looked like it would disappear and reappear and disappear and reappear. It was black. Mm-hmm. Interesting, huh? So this is what she has to say, and she wanted to be here, and she had to work. So she's like, oh, I would love to be here, but it's okay. All right. So this is her statement. What was her name again? I got it. Cindy.
Yeah, Cindy.
Mm-hmm. The other one's Larry.
Yep.
Okay. So Cindy, she's from the Darien, Lake Geneva. It's on the state line of Illinois, Wisconsin, about an hour northwest of Chicago. Okay. Now, the Fortean Society loves these, but they were telling me that there's actually here in McHenry County that there was like a flying thing that nobody knew what it was. I don't know. Did you?
Oh, no.
Did you ever see what I'm saying?
No.
Sometimes because people think you're nuts and you don't want to tell people. So these people are starting to come out and talk to me about it because I'm interested in it. And I think it's just awesome. So,
sure.
Okay. So this is what she has to say. I was geocaching with my boyfriend and my two dogs on both sides of the trail. About 5 feet before me in the woods with some tall grass. I was upwind when my boyfriend went through the grass in the woods. I stood on the trail holding the dog's leashes. I looked down and across from me was these two black eyes staring at my 15-pound terrier. I kept my eyes on it. I believe it noticed I saw it because it disappeared in the grass again. I didn't notice the ears if it was like back, if they were pinned back or forward. Did I tell you about the shape? Okay. And what she noticed was as she was getting closer, it backed off. It was jet black. Mm-hmm. And she said it was a little spiky. So now, here we go. Black Panther, which they say they do not exist in Wisconsin when we've seen them.
Right.
At least 4 to 5 times.
Well, there's a lot of mountain lions. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of stuff that they say doesn't exist. I have a Massasauga rattlesnake. They say it's extinct in the state of Wisconsin. I had one in my yard, picked it up, gave it to the DNR, and the DNR supposedly lost it. So
Interesting.
yeah, interesting. Anyway, so what is her sighting? You know, she also has to talk about a shapeshifter, and it was the same thing. So this is the not first time I've heard about a shapeshifter too. So what are these things? You know, I keep your mind open, because now the scientists are starting to say, hey, you know what? This is a possibility now. So just remember that. Okay. So did I tell you about the shapeshifter on the 7 bridges in Grant Park? Walking on the shore of the lake, there's a long log by 7 bridges. It was dusk. What looked like a dog walked out of the water, then went behind the log. It stood on 2 feet and was the size of a bear. And it was it grew to 7 feet. It must have stood up for 7 feet. Okay. This was 4 years before the movie Mama came out. Do you know what that is?
I've never
I don't know either. It was gray and it was black. It had no face that I could see, but it backed up and climbed the stairs on Layton Avenue. It kept circling us. We could hear the gravel moving around, and we crossed Lake Drive and didn't see it again. So, all right. So now, what are people seeing? I mean, it's standing up. It's black.
Yeah.
with now she didn't say if it had red eyes. Now, some of them, like she said, the one had black eyes. Now, I've been told that all these have red eyes. Yeah. Maybe there's a reflection. I don't know. It could be either, you know.
Good morning, Lillian.
But, yeah. So now this other guy's name is Larry, and he said he was willing to write it down for me, because there were more than one witness to this one. And I'm just posing these questions. They've got to be something. They've got to be something, you guys. So, any pictures that we get, as I get them, I'm going to start posting them on my website. So, interesting. Just a thought, you guys. Okay. Hi. Okay. So his name is Larry. I'm getting these off of a very interesting website called Strange Wisconsin. So Strange Wisconsin on Facebook is because we are all seeing these weird things. We're wondering why we are seeing them. Is it just because it's something's weird here, or the fact that 40% of the population lives in 3 or 4 counties in the state of Wisconsin, and Rock County, Walworth County, and it goes all the way to the lake, Milwaukee County, Kenosha County, Waukesha County, and 40%. I mean, now, are we seeing it because there's more people here and there's more stuff going on up north? You know, I know for a fact, I've got a friend from Missouri that says that they say that there's like a Bigfoot. So just to pose the question, anybody's got any interesting tales to tell me, post them. Okay.
That's right.
Hi, Megan. Okay. So this is his testimony.
Larry's,
this is near Bray Road, by the way. Yeah. Now, traditionally there's this creature on Bray Road. Now, I have my horse trainer's on Bray Road, and he always laughs at me when I say, have you seen it? He's, oh yeah, it's so stupid. And I'm like, hey, you know what? These people can't be making this up. They've seen stuff. I've heard stuff. I don't know. I still think that the things that were at my house are protectors, and that's why I haven't seen them, because they like what I take good care of my property. I'm an organic, you know. I do. I'm very respectful.
You're a tree hugger.
I am a tree hugger. I'm a tree kisser. You know that it's good for you to hug a tree. Wow. By the way, hug a tree. It's good for you. It actually sets you on the ground, and it adjusts your chakras and your serotonin levels. Yep. So anyway, so hi. Okay, this is what he has to say. Okay, hi, Lana. It ran in front of my car and the oncoming car. Both of us stopped. I peeled off into the subdivision for a minute to find that it came back out, and the other car was still stopped in the middle road in shock. Wish I had gotten this guy's number. There was no way a man in costume could have leaped and ran with that Olympic speed. All I can say is we believe what we have seen, but now it must have seemed unreal. It's like it's not possible. Right. I still think it's an impossible species-wise to be sighted. But the speed, the height, and the amazing agility makes a very unlikely believer, as I say. I have a picture-perfect memory of it. I would take any and pass any lie detector test. I knew nothing of it before. I started telling people of my incredulous event, and the people told me things that they read. I started reading articles. Most descriptive ones were the enlightening and about the other real experiences. So I'm telling you, people are seeing these things, and people have been scared till they think you're crazy. And you can't be crazy. This has got to be real. Now, I am at a point in my life where, like I said, I've explained tulpas before because we believe they exist. They do. I don't know, but when CBS News, who is the credible source, says, you know what, these may be real. Here are the scientists that are exploring that. And I read that article. Look it up. It says CBS and Bigfoot sightings, because they are at a point where they are pretty convinced that they are real. I have people pouring into my mailboxes. So if you've got a really good story, picture, sighting, something, send it to me. I would love to see it. I am going with the Fortean Society. I didn't know what Fortean meant, I was like, what is that? Supposedly there's this guy named Fort, and he would post things. He was like back maybe about 100 years ago in a newspaper about unbelievable events. And so that's why they call it the Fortean Society. But it's just fascinating. I'm enthralled by all this because I've seen ghosts. By the way, I clear out ghosts. Now, I have people on YouTube requesting, why don't you tape it? Because it is very personal. And I don't want some people don't feel comfortable. People think you're crazy. Like I said, it's almost like I cast demons out. I don't believe in demons, but I know there's evil in the world. But if you'd see when I'm working with these people, they shake and stuff. Sure. Because they're getting rid of negative energy is really what I feel is going on. But Who knows? So that's what I'm saying. People do not know what's out there. There's so much out there yet to be found and seen. It blows my mind people are just they're blowing up my mailbox full of stuff. Yeah. So, okay. So if anybody's out there and you've seen something, you have a picture, you have something, this is just like the coolest thing ever. So I'm like, it's just, I want to kind of one of these days see something, but I'm scared to death that I probably want to move. So, I don't know.
Shayna says, good morning.
Good morning.
In 2019, there was a sighting, what is believed to be a Mothman.
Yes.
In Woodstock.
Yes. In McHenry County. Yes, That's exactly what I was just saying. Fortean Society actually has investigated that. So, they said that it was like a flying person they didn't know what it was.
Yeah, it had wings. And
where's all this stuff coming from? I mean, and what really kills me is that will be more than one witness. Now, I've got, for instance, any most haunted place I've ever been in my life is Weary Road in Evansville, Wisconsin. And it's some people just think it's a joke. And I hung out there. I watched a cat manifest itself, right? Go from come up, because they used to do all kinds of crazy stuff, like sacrifice animals out there. Anyway, and it was really big, and it came up from under the bridge. 7 people were there.
Yeah.
I mean, I have 7 witnesses that will do sworn testimony. And it came out, it was real big, like big. And I'm like, what the heck? And all of a sudden it was normal size. You look down, it's a normal size cat. And you're like, okay, well, the cat kept hanging around with us. And by the way, I kind of attract things. Anyway, if you have intuitive ability, and most of you guys are watching me have intuitive ability because you're watching me. Anyway, I said, oh, kitty. And first of all, the one woman that touched the cat got sick and within 5 minutes was throwing up and had to go home because she was touching pure energy. It was making her sick. Second of all, I said to the cat, because I'm an animal lover and I like cats. I like cats a lot. I like dogs too, but cats are just my thing. I like a nice cat laying on my bed at night. Anyway, I say, oh, kitty, I'd take you home if I could. Well, I drive home. Go to sleep. My husband gets up in the morning. He goes, I swear there was a cat rubbing around, meowing and rubbing themselves on my side of my leg all night. So I had brought it home. So I had to cleanse the house with some sage and say a couple prayers and get rid of some ant things like cats. So anyway, If anybody says, my point being, if you think that some of this isn't real, you have 7 witnesses, eyewitnesses who saw the whole thing. Okay, that's my point. And when now the scientists are, I like to see all the open-mindedness of all of this.
Mhm.
Because people are starting, and it's getting to be kind of a joke. You know, people get those cutouts of Bigfoot and then stick them somewhere. So, oh look, there's a Bigfoot. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I will say I don't know.
Well, and keep in mind, folks, you're listening to 21.6 The Net. Right here is Metaphysical Meanderings with Master Psychic Lana Duncan Hartgraves. And if you want to find out some of those past shows and things that have happened, visit her out at anchor.fm, Metaphysical Meanderings, where her podcast lives and reigns. You can also find her on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Cast, Stitcher, a bunch of different ones. Wherever you listen to your podcast, you can find her there, and we're grateful to be on those. So also check her out at www.enchantedskye.com. She will do readings. She will talk with you, chat with you, whatever it is you're looking for her help. She'll gladly guide you as well. So don't forget that she's 24/7. She's just not a Saturday morning.
Yep. Been really busy because everything's taken off. I have a couple students on here. I haven't seen you forever. Well, now you'll be seeing me a lot more because I'm approaching 1 million live watchers. So
that's awesome.
That's pretty awesome. So, and it's on Metaphysical Meandering. So check me out on Spotify. What are we all on now? Spotify, yep. Apple Podcast,
Google Cast, Stitcher, Radio Cast.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a bunch.
Yeah, there's 7 of them. So, yep. So anyway, so now I'm just posing you guys questions. So just so that it keeps you,
Shana has an interesting questions. Do you think it's a portal type situation or more concentration of energy?
Yes, I do. I really do. Shana, yes. That if you have to ask me what I think it's a portal. I think that's why they seem like they disappear. Now, like I said, Weary Road, I'm going to take you out there. You're going to go with me.
I would love it.
You're going to think that's the coolest place ever. And sometimes you don't get stuff, but 90% of the time, something's on cameras. Now, if you think all this isn't real, I really invite you to please watch my YouTube channel, Lana's Enchanted Sky. You can see an orb, and almost you can see the wings go above, and I would say 7 to 10 out of everything I tape, it goes around me. It's got little wings. It disappears. It comes back in the picture. Watch, especially it was Libra this month. Libra financial. You can see little tiny, and they look like this, and it's like that big. I can't be making this up. It's February in Wisconsin. It's cold.
That's right.
I mean, there is no bugs. And you see it constantly. One time I was taping, and I think it was around the time I was sick with COVID. The whole
on your shoulder,
taping, there was an orb sitting on my shoulder, and you could see it. You can see it sitting there, and then it kind of did this, So I'm just posing stuff that there's more out there than in this great big world than anybody could ever imagine.
Pete says we've got 2 pictures of our studio ghost captured in the same second on our security camera.
Oh, you do?
During one of your shows.
Oh, during one of my shows? Okay. And you know what? I would love to see that. Yeah. I still say, and I told Kent this earlier, he lost one of the original people that was in this show, that originally started the show. What was his name again?
Ron,
and wasn't he like a cowboy?
Rancher Ron.
Well, what do I do? What do I have a very southwestern, like I own horses and a whole bit. He's one that's here. I know he is. I'm at, when you said, I was watching one of your shows and I didn't know who that was. And I was telling him I was going to call in, or I was going to write in and really fast and tell you that that's who that is. So, and I'm like, it's very interesting. Like I have a lot of students. Probably I've seen over 10,000 students in my 30 years because I'm an art teacher. So I see the whole building, and everyone, all the kids always knew that they always loved coming to the art room. Well, 1, I made it calm, and because I'm a Reiki healer, and 2, I was always a little different. So I've come out of the closet, guys. Yes, I'm a psychic, and a lot of you knew though. Everybody in the school I'm at knows and thinks it's awesome.
Sure.
It's the first building I've ever been at where they haven't tried to fire me. They've accepted me the way I am. And I just tell them, I said, well, I can't talk about it a lot with you in school because, it's religion. I can't talk about it. But after school, off the line, whatever, I'm okay. So now we're switching gears a little because I'm going to try to do be more like TikTok, where I'm switching stuff up all the time.
Quick hits and go.
Quick hits. Yeah, because that was a long time on that. So what I'm going to talk about now is white stones. Last week I talked about black stones. This time I'm talking about white stones. And I'm also going to start with one tarot card. I'm going to start talking about tarot cards a little bit, like brought to you by kind of like on Sesame Street. Yep. And I'm going to start doing that too. So if I get a little bit of time to stick that in there, I will. Okay. And I probably will start off from the major arcana using the Fool card. That's probably what I will be doing if I get a chance. If I don't get a chance, I'll do it next week. This show I got 5,000 episodes of this because I can talk about, there's so much to talk about.
Shayna says, why do you think most of us never see anything?
I think because you believe you can't. I really truly think that. And if you and Shayna, look on my website, you will see what I am talking on my videos. They are as plain as day. Matter of fact, next week we'll replay one. And I'm sure it's my father-in-law. My father-in-law and I were like oil and water. And he was kind of a misogynist. I mean, and I'm an extremely strong female. And we would fight. But you know what? I knew he loved me. And I loved him. And he's appearing in there. And you know what the comment is? I'm going to make you famous yet, is what he says. And then he keeps telling me that. I mean, if I've got all these orbs flying, I'm like, hey, look at these, look at these, look at these. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, cool. Plus, I think he thinks it's funny because he gets to be seen too.
That's right.
So, yeah, I think it's a little combination there. But that is what he says. When I meditate, I did not realize he started coming to me really super strong last year, right before the pandemic, and was telling me all kinds of stuff that I didn't understand what was going on. And because he kept saying, you and your family are safe. You and your family are safe. We all got COVID. He was warning me that this was coming. I just didn't understand what he was talking about.
Right.
And by the way, when I make predictions, it's usually because they're talking to me. It's not that I'm so wonderful. It's just they're talking to me and I hear them. Yep. So if anybody thinks that, believe it or not.
So Pete, one of the station owners says he doesn't think it's Ron and Stu. There's actually been identified as one of the original building owners.
There is. There's two.
Yeah.
There's more than one here. No, really, I know there is. I know. He didn't have a southern accent, but he had a weird accent. Did the rancher have kind of an odd accent? Yeah, see, he's talking to me. I can hear him right now.
Yeah, so he grew up on the East Coast.
Oh, okay. I was going to say it's an odd accent. It's different, but it's not southern.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he wasn't southern. Yeah.
Okay.
And then,
see what I'm saying? How would I know that? Because sometimes they talk to me and I repeat back, and you'll see me when I channel that you will realize I look upright. I don't know why, but Doug McDuff, when he used to call me into the radio station to do the same thing, he said that I smile a little and I look upright, and I don't know. It's like a habit. So if you see me, I'm channeling. Yeah. Okay.
Leah Carr says you have to believe it to see it.
Yep, you do. Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's true. I mean, yeah. All right. But I know that there's two people here. There's a presence. And I want to say that the shorter person, Pete, the older guy's shorter. He's a littler guy. He's a shorter, stockier guy. This other one's a little bit taller and not lean, but no, did he have a tummy too a little bit? Mm-hmm. But he was much taller. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm finally putting this on Facebook. I'm going to also probably take my show, and I haven't been putting it on Facebook. I've been guilty, like Phil Facebook, Anyway, white stones. So these are for protection for you empaths out there.
Yeah.
Because you need them. Did you ever get to my friend's store?
This week.
This week? Okay.
Yeah. I'm out in
She's got some beautiful
I'm out in the Rockford area this week. So,
okay. She's got some beautiful Aqua Auras in there.
Awesome.
So these are the stones you need for protection. Now, especially if you're an empath. Now, if you're some people are like, well, what's an empath? I just explained that recently, what an empath is again to somebody. And an empath is somebody who picks up other people's feelings as their own. There also can be a healer. There's many different types of empath. You can be a plant empath. You're very, very good, like the green thumb. And you're usually more than one. Because I know I'm a plant empath, means I can grow plants like nobody's business. I'm just really good at it. I'm also an animal. I just love animals and nature, so I picked that all up. Now, there's like even mathematical empaths, believe it or not, that have good sense of numbers. That's definitely not me. But anyway, I can balance my checkbook. I can put money away. That's about it. Anyway, so these are some of the stones that you should be wearing. Now, I today am wearing a Smoky Quartz again. I have another Smoky Quartz I'm going to have. I was talking about these last week, and they are considered smoky to clear because depending on how smoky they are. This one's pretty brown, and I wear it for protection. And it's both clear and a dark color. So it's that's my stone. How do you know what your stones are? Now you can ask a psychic, you can ask somebody, or you can just whatever stone really super tracks you. Okay. So clear crystals. If you never go wrong with a clear crystal. Now what in the heck do you put in the computers? Crystals. Okay. It's sand, it's crystals. And clear crystals help with your meditation and your spirituality. They help ground you. So, and you ever notice some people wear them in different places? Like I could be wearing this. If I wanted to speak my truth right now, I might be wearing it here. But I'm down here on my heart chakra. So, okay. Another one is selenite. It gets made with salt. And it's very, very soft. Now, this is something that you can do. You want to keep your house clear? Take pieces, and they're long and thin. I guess, next week I'll start bringing the stones and you can see them instead of me talking about them. But selenite is good for house clearing, and you're supposed to put it in every corner of your house. It's good for clearing out negative energy. Okay.
Interesting.
Rejuvenate, healing, clearing, angelic. Clears negative thoughts. Now, the only bad thing about selenite is don't wear it if you're going to take a shower. It will melt because it is a form of, it's a form of salt. Okay. It's really soft. Okay. Huh. All right. Next one is rose quartz. Can't go wrong with a rose quartz. I have I don't know if, I got a couple of kids of my students. Anyway, I've always put a big, huge rose quartz on my desk. Kids know when it's there and they know when it's not. They can tell the difference.
Sure.
When you walk in the room. And after a while, it starts to crack and stuff because of the negative energy and stuff. It's just absorbing. And I will take it outside. And this is a great way to clear those stones, you guys. Clear them by putting them outside in the sun or rinsing them with salt water. Seawater is the best. Okay. So that's how I clear mine. Like every once in a while, I will. If you don't, they're going to crack in half and you're going to lose your stones. They will. They'll crack. They'll also cloud. They get a little bit darker, and I have a clear quartz that's now really super cloudy. So, okay.
And it's not good to lose your marbles, but is it good to lose your stones?
Well, you know what? You do. I don't know what it is, but there are some stones, like there's jewelry that I have to, like, it would break my heart if I lost it, even though it's like not real expensive. I had a clear quartz and it came off and I couldn't find it. I was so upset. Then I found it. And of course I found it in the horse pasture. I must have been with the horses, and it wasn't broken, but I had little chakra stones on it, and it lost a couple of stones. And I'm like, I'm like, I got to figure out how to fix it because I've had it for 20 some years. And granted, it was completely clear, but needed a stone to keep the house clean. My husband says, not clear, but clean. Yeah, he knows because he's cleaning the house right now. Because I told him that he had to for me because I can't keep up. I'm very busy, you guys. It's exploded in a good way. So I'm trying to juggle. Good juggling. All right. So rose quartz increases the self-love. It also opens your heart and creates friendships. And I'm a huge believer in rose quartz. It's not one of my favorite stones, but I use it a lot. So, all right. Next one's one of my favorites, and I'm telling Kent that he needs this. My producer Kent needs an Aqua Aura. Aqua Auras are man-made, by the way.
Oh,
They are just clear quartz, but they are infused with gold.
I didn't know that.
So they end up with a sheen to them. It's like a really pretty and iridescent sheen, and they're my favorite stone. I just love Aqua Auras. They're like my thing. And they're very calming. They eliminate anger. They heal trauma. They also react. This is an interesting thing with this stone, and this is what I have found with Aqua Aura, is that Aqua Aura will amplify what else you have on. So if you have a clear quartz and you have an Aqua Aura with it, it'll amplify. If you've got some healing ability, some healing that you need done, and you want to use something like I don't know, like a rainbow moonstone, it intensifies energy. So, okay. But it does work. And that's one thing you do have to be careful. There are some stones that are neutrals. Turquoise is a neutral one. That's why I wear a lot of it, because you end up negating all the energy you're getting off them. And people are like, oh, this is such pseudoscience. I had somebody say that to me recently. I'm like, if you are an empath or you are an intuitive, you will know what I'm talking about, because you will feel the energy off these things. Okay. Trust me. You just meditate. You'll see what I'm talking about. Okay. So Aqua Aura, we got to that one that heals trauma, all that. Howlite. Now, howlite looks a lot. Now, this is called a buffalo turquoise, this white and black that I'm wearing. But howlite looks quite a bit like that. It's more white. It's like a milky looking colored stone, sort of. Okay. Calming, reduces stress, absorbs negative energy, and helps you sleep. So it would not surprise me if somebody buys a nice big howlite and they put it under their bed, under their pillow, to help them sleep better.
There you go.
All right.
Deanna Hayes says, I definitely believe in you 100%. I have a deep spiritual connection and can't explain that Jesus Christ himself gave me when I got baptized and gave my will and life over to him. Admitted complete defeat. I'm able to see people's souls through their eyes.
Okay. You're the second person in the last couple days that has said that to me, that they can look at somebody and see right through them. And yes, that the eyes are the windows to the soul.
Yeah.
Right.
I can tell if they have a good soul, bad soul. I also get feelings with people that are overwhelming. And if I had to give a percentage of how many times I'm right or wrong, I'm 99% right, 1% wrong. I also have had bad dreams about people that sometimes, what does it say there?
Sometimes. She's cut off a little.
Yeah.
Deanna, thank you.
Yeah.
We can't read it all. We're sorry.
Yeah. Only limit.
They limit you.
Yeah.
It sucks, huh?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all, we're all awakening. That's what the whole point is. That's what this is. We're all waking up to this. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. My husband's, it's
Moving
warm here in the
plants.
Midwest. Okay. It's going to be 62 degrees. Like for us here,
This time
that's shorts weather.
Yeah,
And it's like, oh my God. So I have a greenhouse. I have a huge green thumb, like I said, and my plants are going, I bring them I have like an entryway, and I put like 130 plants in there, and you barely walk for about 3 months. Then I move them back, and my husband is moving my plants for me back out so we can clean and because, they shed. And my house is always full of plants, but that's too bad. Anyway, so he's telling me right now.
Right on.
Moving my plants out.
In a couple minutes, we'll be opening up for questions. So,
and if I don't get
your
to
questions ready.
Yep. If I don't get to something, I will come back next. Yep. I can talk like this for
ever.
Chalcedony. Chalcedony is a kind of a white too. It's a creamy kind of. Yeah, you can kind of almost see through it sometimes. It's like a little, that's one of the other white ones. I'm used to, because you're on podcast, I'm not bringing, I visually, I can bring them and show them too.
Sure.
So I'll start doing that.
I can be Vanna White. I can hold them in front of the camera.
Sounds good. All right. Emotional balance, stamina, hardiness, energy, kindness, endurance. Interesting. The last one I'll do today is Opalite. Now, Opalite, have you ever seen, you've seen Opalite, right?
Yeah, kind of a pinkish whitish. Am I thinking correctly?
It's kind of, nope. This is one where you can almost see through it, but can't quite.
Okay.
And it's kind of a greenish, kind of a, no, I think you're thinking rose quartz.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay. And Opalite, it's just, it looks like an opal, but I don't know. It's just a very unique, it looks fake, but it's a real, it's a real stone. Listen to this one. This one, it's for sexual energy. I'm like, ooh, mood swings helps with transitions. So if you are having a hard time making a transition, they will tell you it has to do a lot with energy.
Is that an opalite in your pocket, or are you happy to see me? Right?
Okay, it's about that time. Everybody ready? All right. We're going to the second part of the show, and what we're going to be doing is you can ask me a question. Got me any questions? Go ahead and ask.
That's right.
One question, please. And by the way, while I'm waiting, I might as well go to my next stone because I got like 18 white stones. So that's what we'll do. Here's Deanna. Did you have your gift early as a kid, or did you have an experience that triggered your gifts to emerge? Yes. I think that we all have it, but we're taught that you're not supposed to have it. Does that make sense? You know, especially if depending on what religion you are. But for me personally, my mother died suddenly. And that's when this all started. Like suddenly, like I got a phone call, she's dead. And I'm like, huh? I knew she died. I knew something was wrong. Because that morning I was teaching, I was filling in. It was during the summer. I was filling in for another teacher, and I thought, I'll just go sub for you for the day. And I got so sick to my stomach, I had to pull over, and I like threw up. And it's like, you know what that is? I still say that was the cord being cut, the silver cord being cut. So,
Deanna asks, did you notice your gift early as a kid, or did you have an experience that triggered your special gift to emerge?
Yep. That, like I said, and it usually is triggered, you guys. Did you know that? You have abilities a lot of times and don't realize it until it's triggered. So just to let you know that trauma really brings this kind of stuff on. I have a psychic friend that I know, and she's always saying that I taught myself all this. I have it. She does not remember that she lost a child. She needs to be, you know what I'm saying? It's the trauma. I don't care what anybody says. I don't know if it brings you closer to God. It brings you more spiritual. I'm not sure what it does, but it's like a shock. It's something that's a shocking thing. Just really opens you up. So a lot of times it's the awakening. Something starts. I always compare an awakening to like a tower card. If you do not know what I mean by a tower card, I'm going to be going over these. Is that when you think you're stuck, when you think that, things aren't going, be prepared, because especially if you think that you might be feeling stuck, because that's when you're having the awakening. That's all of a sudden, and then all the energy goes forward really, really fast, all at once. And you're like, oh my God, you're overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed. Okay. So just to let you know. Okay.
Yeah. Desiree says, still looking for a job. Any career insights for my future?
Desiree, career insights. Desiree, you might have to take something you might not want to make ends meet for a little while, but you eventually, more in October, you'll find on what you really want. You might have to take like a menial job somewhere just to make bills, just to pay bills for a while you're waiting for that other opportunity to come, because it's not coming until October. Okay. All right. The horse. Oh, hey, he's on here every week. Okay.
Hi, Lana. I'm struggling to move on energetically from what I believe to be is a karmic.
Okay.
Do you see this changing for me and me having a happy future romantically with someone new?
Yes. You answered your own question. Yeah, it is karmic. I feel like that person, though, isn't going to come back to you a little bit for some reason, or trying to get with you. Stand your ground. I want to say that it didn't end up the way it should have for you. And stand your ground. I don't think they should be back in your life. And I think that might be what you were supposed to learn. Okay. The horse 89, it kills me. It makes me laugh.
Right.
Okay.
Shayna says, I've read you should be gifted your first tarot deck. Have you heard this?
I have heard that. Yes, I have. And my first tarot decks were gifted to me by my best friend. But, it doesn't have to be, so there's traditions to all this. I mean, and it doesn't, I actually have a tarot deck. That's why I was saying I might be pulling my tarot deck. I think I got
Well, somebody should.
I think I got it.
That's right.
I always have a tarot deck with me, just in case, because you guys know. But I'm off camera. But hold on here.
Yeah. So Peter says, I can no longer shut it off fully. It's not always enjoyable seeing and hearing what they're either able to or want to show. Learning to get comfortable with it, he says.
You know what, Pete? You just have to learn how to shut it off. I've been trying to teach people that it's not as hard as you think it is to shut it off. I can shut it off. I would be in a mental ward by now if I couldn't shut it off, because I'm seeing 750 kids. I'm seeing 1,000 people directly, not just in a crowd, directly. Mm-hmm. And they, as a human being, and they know me and I know them. And so I have learned over the years, I just didn't realize I was doing it. And how I was doing it was how I shut it off. I literally shut myself down. And people are, how do you do that? I said, I mentally imagine a black wall and I'm done. And you're done. And if you ever watch me, I can shut it off and I can turn it on. Mm-hmm. And it takes a while, especially when you're just coming into your gifts. Yeah. Okay.
Deanna says, has anyone thought you were a fake, crazy, etc.? Because for me, some people can't understand the unknown.
Oh yeah.
She then
all the time.
She then says, okay, I'll get personal. I've been single 3 years now. Do you see someone healthy in my future?
Yes, but not for a while. You've got to at least another year, but it's the right person at the right timing. And it's about a year away yet. But yes, there is somebody. I don't know how you meet them. It's not online. I think it's through somebody or something. Like you bump into them somehow. Just a thought. Think about that. Well, okay.
Shayna says, Solana, how about hosting a walk in the interesting?
Okay. What do you mean by that? A walk in the interesting. I don't know, Shayna.
Every day is a walk in the interesting, right?
Yes. So I try to keep them interesting.
Yeah. After my hip surgery, Anna asks, will I have any more surgeries, particularly the left knee and left shoulder?
You will in about 2 years, Anna, once everything else is. Oh, a pub crawl. Oh, okay. I get it. Okay. Sorry. I didn't mean to skip. Okay. I'm reading, I'm looking at the teleprompter. Okay. So Anna, you're going to have left knee. Yes. Your surgery on your knee. And I don't know what up about the shoulder. I don't know if you're going to have surgery on that. If you do, it's going to be a long time out yet. Okay. Probably 9 months to a year for the left knee. Okay. Mm-hmm. Shayna, you're talking about a pub crawl. Well, that would be a meet and greet, right?
Yeah. Kind of.
Well, we're thinking of having a meet and greet here in the station. So, right?
Yeah. When it gets a little warmer and more vaccines have been.
Exactly. Well, I'm getting my vaccine Tuesday.
Well, good for you.
So I'm a little scared. Because I heard that if you've had it, you get pretty sick. So I'm like,
maybe you should talk to a psychic. Well, you have them.
I can't. I do.
Right.
I do.
That's why I say. Yeah.
I'm okay. I'm not going to die from it.
Yeah,
I know I'm not supposed to live to be.
You just don't like feeling bad.
I know, but it ain't the first one. Probably won't even bother me that much. It'll probably be the second.
Yeah.
So
I've talked to a lot of people who haven't had any side effects. So
I know my daughter didn't. My oldest daughter, who's on Stellara, though, she had some. She had no reactions at all. None.
Yeah, that's good.
She was tired. That was it. So
aren't we all?
Yeah, true. I thought about. You know what I've thought about doing? I was thinking about having a solstice party in June at my place, and everybody has to. Okay, everybody bring a tent. Bring a tent. I got 4.5 acres, so
there you go.
Bring a tent. Come on out. I'm thinking of doing it. It's a psychic thing, just for psychics.
Dawn Jennings says I had my first shot and it was not bad, like a tetanus.
Oh, good.
Like a tetanus.
Good. Thank you, Dawn.
Any other questions? Of course, you're listening to 216 The Net. This is Metaphysical Meanderings with Master Psychic Lana Duncan Hartgraves. You can find her at www.enchantedSky.com. You can follow her out there on YouTube as well. And if you've missed any of the previous shows, they're out on Anchor.fm. Spotify, Applecast, you name it, wherever you
Google
listening to your podcast. Not Pandora yet. We're still kind of working and figuring that.
Yeah, I had asked, I talked to him about it. So I'm a Pandora fan, so we're working on it. Yeah.
Leah says, Lana, I've been looking for supposed hidden buried monies of my deceased grandfathers for about a year now. Does it even exist? Am I close to uncovering it?
It does exist. It does exist. Leah, it's in a jar. It's in a mason jar, and it's coins and with a mixture of some dollars. But do you have it? Is it on his old property? Is that what this is? Because there is money. No, there is money. I don't know. I don't think it's like as much as you would think it would be, but I think in the old coins,
could be.
It's worth money. Does that make sense? I think so.
Yeah. So she's not going to become the next millionaire, perhaps.
No, I don't.
But it'll be a neat find.
It will be a neat find. It would be worth quite a bit. It's still worth quite a bit of money, but I don't think it's like $1 million or anything. So it kind of feels like maybe it could be like $5,000 or I mean, it's something like that. You know, it's like not a small amount. So yeah. Okay. So keep looking. You live in his house. Well, there you go.
I live in his house.
Have you looked in the floorboards? I know that's crazy. Have you looked in in wood? Like it would be in a floorboard. It would be under in an old shed. There's something to do with it's something to do with wood. I don't get that, but that's what they're telling me to tell you.
Stephanie asks, will I ever get confident enough in my psychic gifts to start doing readings?
You know, the best way to do it is this is how I got started, Stephanie. I got asked to do them. It was Ursong Books and Gifts. That's must be my plug. I've been plugging them. They're out of Janesville, Wisconsin. It's a store. I will be reading there in March. So I'll have to probably do my cat podcast at home and then
we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
we'll figure it out. Why not?
Anyway, and they started to ask me to do it for free. Well, I actually started getting better than the ones they were paying. And so they asked me, well, we got to start paying you now. I'm like, oh, okay. But don't think that thank you, Leah. Yeah. Don't think that I don't ever have doubt because I come up with these crazy answers and I'm like, I don't understand. Mm-hmm. And then but you might understand. And it's just crazy. I doubt myself, especially after I've had someone where I didn't have a very good reading with them. And sometimes, I'm going to be honest, I don't always connect fully with some people. For instance, I had a woman she was from Romania, but she lived in Canada and she called me and the reading was off. Well, I kept telling her, I'm like, okay, there's this lady talking to me and she's talking in another language. Well, the whole thing went through the whole thing. And she's like, well, you were just really off. And I'm like, okay. And then she goes, because I didn't know where she was from. Then she said she was from Romania. I'm like, well, how can I connect to your family members if you don't even understand what I'm talking about? She was speaking in another language. Don't you understand? Sure. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah. So every once in a while, and I also recently I had where a entity came out of order. I'm busy on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, those are my and Sundays. So you can schedule. I've got 12 openings. That's it. And I'm usually booked, or 16 openings. I don't know anyway. So
to Stephanie's point, it's a gift. And if you don't use it, you don't get stronger at it.
That's right.
I mean, it's like a muscle. You got to.
Yes. Yeah. I know I'm 15 times better than I was a year ago.
Sure.
Because I'm doing so many now. Every day you end up with your own style also. Like my style is I connect to your loved ones first. Mm-hmm. And then I go on to your readings. And usually though, I know why you're calling because it's called a cold read. And I'll go, well, so what's up with your job, huh? And they'll be like, how did you know that? I said, because your family that I just connected with is telling me that. So yeah, I'm auditory, and it's funny that my boss picked up on the fact that I'm auditory. She goes, you're a visual art teacher, but you're so auditory. Because she goes, you even think out loud. And I do. I'll be like, well, hold on, I'm processing this. And I will I talk aloud to myself. So I'm an auditory learner. So and usually if you tell me something, I don't forget it. I'm pretty good at it. So
we've got three questions. Shayna says,
3 more.
Shayna, can you tell me if my daughter has the gift?
Yes, but she's pushing it down, and it'll resurface with a vengeance when she's like 30.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Cool. And then Stephanie says, well, do you see me doing it in the future readings?
Yes.
And then the last question for the day, Deanna, okay, personal here. I have CML, chronic leukemia. I've been in and out of remission 5 times. I'm on the last chemo pill they have right now. I'm in remission again for a little over 2 years now. A stem cell transplant is next. My question is, will I stay in remission until they come out with other chemo pills, or will I have the transplant?
You're going to have that transplant, and it's going to work, completely work. I could have answered that before I even read the rest of the thing. You have a transplant coming, and it's going to work very well. You won't be on meds anymore.
Wow.
You have, Deanna, don't you have something else a little, like, no offense, another health problem that you need? Just wanted to, I picked up something else that might be combined with that. So, okay.
Right. Thank you for tuning in, folks. You've been caught in the net, 21/6 the net. This has been Metaphysical Meanderings with Master Psychic Lana Duncan Hartgraves. Check her out. Please go to www.enchantedskye.com, and she can do readings for you throughout the week. Well, tonight we've got a special happening here, 21/6 the net. So tune in a little bit later this evening for some of Willy Wonka's craziness through the McHenry Chamber. We'll be streaming that live. We'd love to see you. Peter Galt and myself will be manning the comments and chatting with everybody through this entirely unique and neat event. So yeah, come back this evening when you see us pop up live. For everybody here, 21/6 the net, from my good dear friend Lana Duncan Hartgraves, thank you so much for spending some time. We're very humbled to have your time Saturday morning, and we'll see you next Saturday.